UFC lightweight, rising up the ranks, Scott Holtzman. Thank you so much for joining me. How's life right now? And I believe in North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm over in North Carolina. It's good, man. You know, just getting by COVID. Strange times, man. I don't think I need to say anything about that, but getting by in good shape and ready to get to Las Vegas with my mask on.
Are you a big mask guy? Are you a proponent of that, or do you feel like we don't really need to be wearing masks?
Man, I I'm not I'm on the fence. I mean, my thing is like nobody likes to have their mouth covered, like,
Yeah.
but it's not hurting anybody. Just wear them, as long as it makes everybody feel better. And who knows, maybe it does protect some old people around, and or at least makes them feel more comfortable. I don't care. It's not a big deal to me. I mean, I have guys, trying to choke me out and stuff every day. So a mask over my face is not a big deal.
During a fight, from time to time, you see fighters cover their opponent's mouths with their hand.
Yeah.
How uncomfortable is that? Is that something that is effective?
I guess it could be if you really if you do it for long enough, but really it just pisses you off.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, if they're covering your mouth, they can't really hit you. I guess they could, but so I guess I'd rather them cover my mouth than punch me.
Yeah, I guess it's more of an annoyance, right? Kind of to open
Yeah,
something up, I guess.
yeah, yeah. I mean, any little thing you can do to try and give yourself an edge, or take them off their game. I mean, I guess if he's trying to get your hand off his mouth and he's not trying to get up, so off his back or hit you or anything like that. So, um, to each their own.
What about the foot stomps? In the Usman fight on Fight Island, he was using those pretty effectively, it seemed like, and everybody was like, doesn't, Jorge, he didn't seem like he was hurt by him, but they must hurt, right?
I don't know. I think if you get one perfect, I mean, there's a lot of little bones, on your foot, but I think he's just stalling more than anything. I don't think you're not going to do any real damage to anybody's foot. I don't know. At least I've never heard of it. You're more likely to damage your foot from kicking their knee or something like that. But I just think like those, and then those knees to the back of the calf and punches to the thigh and stuff like that. That's just trying to stay busy enough to not let the ref break up the fight, and you score points and also breathe and try to recover at the same time. But you're not really doing any damage to them. I mean, Nick Lentz held me and kneed the back of my thigh forever, and I wasn't had no bruising or sore, or didn't hurt me at the time at all. So sorry, the
Now
dogs were
on
barking.
Fight Island, right? There was some crazy fights and a lot of controversy going on. And last weekend, Dan Hardy, the commentator, former fighter,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
confronted Herb Dean, and there's video on it, for stopping the fight late. Did you think the
yeah.
fight was stopped late between Jai Herbert and Francisco Trinaldo?
I don't know. I think it was borderline. I think there's definitely been worse. He kind of fell down and he looked real bad at first, uh, but then he started trying to pull it together and pull his hands up and things like that. But I don't know. You just don't want to see a guy take unnecessary damage. But the problem was, in Herb's situation, I saw he put out a video, but I didn't listen to the video, so I'm just flying blind here. The problem is he was winning the fight, and he was going to win probably, and then all of a sudden gets knocked down, and he's out of the fight, and it's arguable, he could have battled his way back. But, um, you know, fighters, I think people forget that we're people too, and at the end of the day, we're people and we're athletes and we want to compete, but we don't want anybody to get seriously hurt long term, or you don't wish any ill will on people. We're just there to compete real hard and make some money and um, avoid the real world. So you don't want to see him, and that guy's brand new to the UFC, so he'll get more opportunities and things like that. But um, it's hard. I don't always see eye to eye with Herb. I know a lot of people think he's the best in the game. I don't agree with that, but that call was kind of hard to make. But Jai did end up taking some extra shots there that he didn't need to take. So um, I can see both sides of it.
We don't know what's gonna happen, but it looks like Fight Island's gonna happen again. But if it never does happen again, was this something that you desired, that you feel like you missed out on? FOMO or whatever you want to call it nowadays, these kids?
Well, I think at first I did. I, was campaigning a little bit to go over there, but it was really set up for the guys who couldn't get visas to come into the U.S. And once I started learning a little bit more about it, I was like, I think I'll pass on that. I'll wait till they come back to the U.S. because obviously, I think what people don't talk about a lot is foreign taxes. They take a lot of your money over there, and you quarantine for 2 days. You fly across the world. You quarantine for 2 days. Who knows what kind of food you have access to? I think the UFC took their chefs and stuff like that, so they do it right. You risk bringing COVID back, but you also, what they don't know, or what a lot of people didn't know, is you got to quarantine for 2 weeks afterwards. You can't go home to your family and things like that. So for me, I like to kind of see my family right after. So the more I learned, the less interested I was.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of fighters realized that after it actually happened, that Fight Island. Now, going back to your last performance, Rancho Rio, you defeated Jim Miller, unanimous decision, fight of the night bonus, almost perfect, man. But you mentioned that you were satisfied with your performance. What exactly, are your critiques of that performance?
Yeah, I beat Jim in a Jim Miller fight. I didn't really beat him in my sort of fight. I kind of got outside of my game a little bit. I got to keep my feet moving and try and hit, not be hit. So I wasn't happy with a lot of. I didn't settle in as well as I wanted to on the feet. But Jim's good, man. I think he came and smoked some high prospect right after me. So Jim's pretty good, especially in the first round. You got to get out of the first round with him. He proved that time and time again. So I'm happy with the win and the bonus, though, man. I'm not complaining one bit. To get a win in the UFC over a Hall of Famer is a big deal, but I can do better than that.
It's your first bonus. What does it allow you to do, getting that extra cash? Does it really change too much in your life?
Nah, I mean those bonuses, man. That money goes so quick. I got a baby now, and it's a little more breathing room. It's nice. Trust me, I would love to get a bonus every time, and I feel like I've been uh, passed over for some bonuses that I really deserved 2 or 3 times. So it's nice to finally get one. It doesn't hurt at all, and it was a nice paycheck. Kind of, I got lucky because it was right before COVID, so it worked out well.
So you're in North Carolina. You're at Jimmo for training camp. How open is the state in relation to the COVID protocol?
It's pretty open. They just want you to wear masks everywhere, so not a big deal. But everybody's kind of out and about. I don't know if restaurants are full capacity. I hadn't been in a restaurant. I really am only going to the gym and the grocery. So, but everybody's wearing masks, and most of the people are cooperating, so it's not too bad. I kind of go home to Tennessee on the weekends, but I don't kind of, I do. So it's the same way there, but it's you got to be careful.
What's the situation in Tennessee before you went to training camp? How was your training before then?
Well, I had, of course, 3 months where the gym wasn't open, so I wasn't on the mat, which wasn't a big deal for me. I had to get my knee healed up, which was a nice time to do that. But I have another small group of professional athlete friends who were all home too, because we were all out of work at that point. So we committed to working out, doing these fitness workouts 6 days a week. So I stayed in good shape, and shout out to those guys, man. We got after it during the quarantine, and I kind of came out of the quarantine in good shape and just had to get back on the mat. So I had a feeling a fight was coming, so I had already started about 3-4 weeks ahead of time, and so now I'm coming into last week feeling real good.
Were you doing workouts outside, or was there a private location that you guys gathered?
We have a private location. My friend is a PGA golfer, and he has his own home gym. It's awesome. We call it the barn, but it's not really a barn. It's nicer than my old house. But yeah, so we went in there. It was private. There were just 4 of us. It was me, a golfer, a baseball player, and then our physical therapist. So our physical therapist also turned into our barber after a while too. So we had a good setup.
It's almost like a start of a joke, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that guy can do it all, man. He's impressive, dude.
So you're in these small groups now. It seems like everybody in the world that's training or getting ready for a fight are in small groups. What are the benefits you've seen from being in that kind of environment?
Um, well, it's more detail oriented. Those small groups, I think that and I spent a lot of time at a big gym, the MMA Lab. You guys are amazing. Love that place, and I just talked to John Kraus last night. But the smaller groups, you're able to get a little more detail. The problem with the bigger gyms, you got so many guys. You got to get in there, get your work. You get a lot of partners, you get a lot of looks, but you don't get as detailed as you would in a smaller group. So I think that's paid off for me the last few fights. So I'm excited about that, and I've really patched up a lot of holes that were just detail oriented and in positions and things like that. So I'm just building on that, and I'm in shape. I always am. I'm gonna bring it. So I'm in just as good a shape as I've ever been. So there'll be some exciting moments of this fight. You know me, man. I'm gonna take some risks, and he does too. So we'll find out.
Yeah, yeah. Beneil Dariush, your upcoming opponent, he's ranked 14 in the world. Got a lot of momentum. Usually, ranked guys only want to fight ranked guys. So, how did this fight get put together? Was it difficult to find a guy that was ranked to fight you?
Uh, no, I mean I knew that I wanted a higher level opponent. I said last time I didn't care about rankings or anything like that, but um, there weren't a lot of guys willing to fight out there. So I think Benil was probably in good shape already. He was looking for a fight. Uh, I don't think the other ranked guys wanted to fight, so they offered him me, and of course, I'll take anybody up in the top 15. So I think that's how the fight kind of came together. So he didn't have to take the fight, but shout out to him. So it's a big risk for him.
Yeah, definitely. It is a big risk to take. His last fight, UFC 248 versus Jakar Close, pretty insane fight-ending sequence. Did you learn anything about Beneil in that fight? Watching that fight?
Uh, no, I don't think there's anything to be learned. I think we've already seen it all, man. The guy's he's got a lot of guts. He's got a good overhand left. Um, when the going gets tough, that's what he relies on. So it wasn't surprising. He's in there. He's going to stand and throw until the bitter end. So that's kind of how I am too. So I didn't learn much about that. Um, but I mean, he's in the top 15 for a reason. He's world class.
Do you see in this fight coming up some wild exchanges happening in this fight, or are you gonna try to keep it more technical? But I know your style, so I know you're gonna go wild a little bit.
Yeah, there's going to be some wild exchanges for sure. I'm going to try to take his head off, and he's going to try to take my head off. So, um, I need to try and stay technical too, though. That's how I win. So, um, but we'll see how it plays out. I can't promise you I'll be technical the whole time. I like to tend to drop my hands and throw bombs, and so does he. So this will be another fan favorite as long as he doesn't decide to try and hump my leg the whole time.
Now, fighting in a venue without an audience, is that something that you're looking forward to?
Uh, I don't. I think it's better for me because, like we just said, I get fired up, and when the crowd starts going, I do too, and I have a tendency to feed off that energy. So it'll kind of be like practice. So I'll be able to stay calm. I'll be able to actually hear my cornermen. I mean, I think it'll be pretty nice. So I think it'll be a good technical fight, and I think that plays into my advantage.
Does the smaller cage, make a big difference, or do you like the bigger octagon?
I like the bigger cage. It makes a difference. That helps him a little bit because he wants to grab me. He wants to get a hold of me. He wants to press me to the fence. So that helps him. But, um, he's still got to wade through a pool of right hands and hooks and all that to get a hold of me. So I'm not an easy guy to get a hold of.
You go in there, you take out Beneil, pretty much you become ranked. Now, do you have to be selective in who you fight in the next couple of fights, or are you just going to take the attitude of like, I'm going to accept the guys that want to fight me?
Well, I mean, you got to be strategic, I guess, after that. But he's fighting me. He didn't have to, but I would like to move up the rankings. So But we'll see. I mean, I still want exciting fights. I don't want a grappling match. I don't want a wrestling match. I think that's lame. The fans don't like that either. I've done that before. I can do that. It's not that fun. Um, so I want some more exciting fights. I think there's a lot of those in the top 15. I think all those guys are willing to oblige you. There's not really anybody that's not good. There's no low hanging fruit. So we'll see.
Who do you see in the top 15 where the matchup is something that really excites you? Because you know there's some fights that don't really excite you, but it'll be beneficial. But then there's fights that are like, oh man, I could get bonuses off this.
Yeah. Man, there's a lot of those. There's tons of those. And then there are guys up in the top 15 who aren't even in lightweight anymore or aren't fighting anymore. So, um, they're taking up spots too. But I'm going to focus on Beneil for now because that's a tall order, man. I got to fight real well to beat him, and I plan on doing that. So I'm gonna focus on him, and then I'll be ready to make some calls when after that's over with.
So with this fight, could you see a quick finish, or are you expecting a 3-round slobber knocker like some people like to say?
Yeah, I'm expecting a 3-round slobber knocker, man. I don't, you got to cook him a little bit. He's always pretty strong in the first round. He tends to win the first round. So I'm gonna have to cook him a little bit. He's gonna be shooting for takedowns. I'm gonna have to stuff takedowns and wear him out and beat on him a little bit. So I'm prepared to be in there for 15 minutes. I'm in good shape. And I'm gonna bring it like normal. So if the finish comes, it comes. But um, I'm ready for that 15.
All right, man. August 8th, UFC Fight Night, Las
Yep.
Vegas. Thank you so much, Scott, for the time, and good luck on the fight, and good luck on rising up the ranks, man. You've been doing it,
Yeah.
and it's good to watch, man, because you've put in the work.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on. It's good to talk to you again.